Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the fuck up.
And new undisputed UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
All right, guys. If you can see, Lewis is acting immature once again, sticking up the double birds, the double up yours. No need for that. No need for that. Let's try and start off on at least, some form of civility, some, decent level of intelligence, and then we'll go downhill from there. But let's not start with that. That's not good.
No way. Bisping, if I left it up to Bisping's devices, we'd be very buttoned up. We'd be reading a newspaper weekly on the show.
We'd be sat cross-legged in a suit with a tuxedo on and a monocle going, oh, hello.
Sipping tea.
Exactly. I am sipping tea. I'm on multiple cups this morning.
I
How
know.
are you, Lewis? You good, buddy?
I make Bisping a little dirty. I get him a little bit out of his normal comfort zone.
You drag me down is what you do. Yeah, good. I'm glad. Finally, we're admitting it, because this is what I always say. I'm like, if I did a podcast with somebody else, it would be very highbrow, very intelligent. We would be discussing current affairs and breaking down the fights in fine detail. But
it would be NPR. It'd be a British NPR, and you guys would, But I bring out the best in you. That's what I'd like to think. That's the way that I put it. Maybe you say I drag you down. I say I bring out the best in you.
Well, maybe it's a little bit of both. And I'm happy with that.
Combi.
Yeah, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But welcome to the show, everybody. Got a great show. We've got Uriah Faber joining us later. We've got Marlon Chito Vera joining us as well. He was supposed to be on UFC 249, which just got cancelled yesterday. Can't believe it. Very, very disappointed. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But in the meantime, Lewis, we are still on lockdown. It is week 4. We're not going to go on about the coronavirus, everybody. Don't worry about that.
Is it week 4?
It's week 4. I looked it up yesterday. It is the end of the 4th week that we've been on lockdown. And I'll be honest, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over it now. I've pulled out the Scrabble game. Okay, tonight our deal is we're going to cook dinner and play Scrabble. Wild.
Friday night Scrabble. Jesus Christ, if DJ Mikey B could see you now.
Well, DJ Mikey B is going to do a set soon. I'm telling you, I'm working on all the
I saw you're killing it, dude. I saw you got way into it. It was uncomfortable to watch how into it you got. He definitely got into a zone. He forgot his camera was rolling.
Whoa. Listen, I haven't even done the set yet. I was just messing around, just having a little scratch. You know what I mean? Letting the people know that I still got the skills to pay the bills. Okay. But I've got thousands of records that I haven't looked or gone through in years. And, it's so weird because when I used to DJ, I mean, we're not going to get into this too much, but, I used to DJ at these nightclubs, and I'd started off playing the music I liked. And then towards the end, the stuff that people liked was kind of shitty. In England, they kind of call it bouncy house, and I fucking hated it. It got very, very cheesy, and the clientele wasn't the best, but that's what they liked, right? So I go into this record shop, and I just say, in fact, my mate, Jacko, my best mate at the time, he had Stomping Records. I go into Stomping Records. I get 5 or 6 new ones because you can't play the same shit every week, right? So anyway, I got the records, and I'm going through them. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Shit. So I've got a massive pile of records here that is literally just going in the trash. I don't even want them in my house anymore. They've been played once or twice, but that's what I'm doing. I'm getting rid of all of them. Then when they're in the trash, I can access the good stuff that I want, and then I'm going to tear it up. DJ Mikey B is going to take over the world. I'm out of retirement, baby boy.
I'm excited. I want you to come back. It's a new world. It was pre-coronavirus Michael Bisping, post-coronavirus Michael Bisping. He's come full circle. DJ Mikey B has been reborn.
Not only that, I'm getting back into DJing and I'm shaving my fucking head.
Oh my God. If you shave, Bisping, don't shave your head.
I'm shaving the locks off. The hair is going.
Bisping, take it from me. I shave my head.
Whoa, put the hat back on.
We do not need 2 fucking. Do you know how bad you're going to look with a shaved head? We're both going to be very finger-like.
No. Listen, 2 thumbs. Number 1, I'm not going bold, right? I'm going to do like a number 3 or a number 2. It'll be more of a crew cut. Secondly, I said to my wife yesterday, I said, what do you think? By the way, the reason for this is hairdressers are closed. And my regular hairdresser is heavily pregnant right now, so I doubt she's taking any clients either. And it's getting a little wild. It's getting a little windswept. And I've had this hairstyle for years. I just want to change. But I said, what do you think, babe? Do you think I should do it? She's like, Michael, you had a shaved head for the first 12 years of our relationship. Do you know what I mean?
And
I know what you look.
Nobody liked it.
She liked it. I liked it. I'm shaving the head off. It will, unfortunately for you, Lewis, fortunately for me, should I say, it will grow back. My hair definitely grows. I'm going to shave it. I don't have to spend money on haircuts. And then in about 2 months, it'll be right back to where it started.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's going to look good. We'll see how it turns out. It's fine. If I could grow my hair, and I would love to have hair, I just don't have the ability. So I'm sure there is. You probably could find somebody. If I had to guess, if you went online, you could find somebody that would allow you to come to their house and get a haircut, or to their private studio or something.
Yeah, no, I know. You're absolutely right, but it'll just be more of the same. I just want to mix it up. And I feel like this time, while we're in quarantine, is the time to do it. So I'm going to shave the head. I'm going to go old school. I'm going to get the decks out, okay? Maybe I'll start beating people up again. Maybe I'll start doing loads of drugs. Maybe I'll just go wild. Do you know what I mean? Who knows? Go back in time to 1995. Holy shit.
Go back in time to 2019.
No, you idiot. But
dude, fuck it. Let me tell you something. I have an idea. All right, so we're giving away these Sanabul gloves. Shout out to Sanabul. They hooked us up. Guys, I want to see the hairstyle that you think Michael Bisping should have. You guys can just tag us on Twitter or on Instagram, either social media platform. I want to see some photoshops. Let's see the different types of style. Maybe the Tiger King haircut. That would be a nice one. Let's see him completely bald. Let's see him.
I'm going to be completely bald, okay? That's easily done. And by the way, we're changing the boundaries on the Sanabul competition.
We have 45 pairs of fucking gloves to give out. I don't know how. It's going to take 2 years.
67 pairs of gloves and pads to give away. And we keep changing the boundaries of the competition week after week. You do not get this highly coveted prize by merely doing a Photoshop, merely by putting a bloody Joe Exotic wig on my head and making me look like Kevin Spade, right? You don't get rewarded for that.
Yes, you do. I'm going to get 100% I'm going to get a pair of Sanabul gloves. We are never getting rid of these gloves. It's never happening.
I'm going to call him right now and have a word and say to avoid all contact with Lewis and Gas Digital. Anyway, so that's that. What have you been doing, Lewis? I know you've been going hardcore on some video games.
I've been playing way more video games than I've ever played before. I've been streaming on Twitch. If you guys want to follow me on Twitch, it's PR Rattlesnake on Twitch. Look for me. Say what's up. Give me a shout out.
Don't.
I've been crushing it, Bisping. Don't fucking hate. Don't hate on my Twitch skills. Fortnite I've been playing for a long time, obviously. I've gotten pretty good. Just started playing Rocket League, which is a lot of fun as well. And my newest, which is I'm getting pretty addicted to, it's Doom Eternal.
Well, it's funny you say that because Audie from Paradigm Sports Management hit me up yesterday, and one of his guys that worked for him, in fact, I don't know how they got it, but they said, do you play video games? I'm like, yeah, sure, of course I do. I used to play a lot of video games. I was obsessed when I was a kid. Fortunately, Lewis, like most men, I kind of grew out of it, and now it's my kids. I have children. My children play games, and I don't. I'm a man. Okay, I'm 41 years old. I handle myself accordingly. I don't have a Twitch stream account. I'm a man. Okay, I'm involved in high-level business. But he said, would you want the new game Doom? I'm like, oh shit, yeah, of course, yeah. In fact, this juvenile delinquent that I do a podcast with has actually mentioned that to me. So I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. Oh my God, holy shit, what a game! What a fucking, right? Oh my God, it's amazing. As I say, it's been a while since I've played these new games. Do you know what I mean? So I downloaded it on the PlayStation. They gave me a code. I downloaded it and I was like a little kid at Christmas waiting for it to finish. I gotta say, holy shit, since the last time I played a game till now, that shit has really stepped up a notch. And that game, Doom, fuck me, it's scary. That's a scary game.
Yeah, it's like, if you guys don't know what it is, it's essentially you're protecting Earth and this realm from hell. Like it's hell on earth. Like you've opened portals to hell and you're just destroying demons, and it's fast paced, just nonstop movement. And I'm getting pretty good now. The first couple of days was a little bit rocky, and it's very discouraging because it's hard. It's a really hard game. I let my son, I was playing it in front of my son, And then he was like, "Oh, Dad, that's crazy. Can I play?" And then I was like, should I let my 7-year-old play Doom Eternal?
No, because here's what I discovered after playing it for a minute. And by the way, I suck at it. There was this one point at the start, you get like, it has like a countdown of meters. You got to get close to something. It was like a big door or something right at the start. I'm like, what do I do? After like 15 minutes, I called Callum. I'm like, Callum, what do I do here? He's like, yeah, you push square and punch it, and then it just goes through. I'm like, okay. But you get a chainsaw, don't you? You get a chainsaw, and you shoot them once, and you stun them, and then you push a button, and the chainsaw literally chops them to death. Or you get this big bayonet on the end of your gun into the eyes.
Glory kill. So when you press the one button, when they're glowing, you do what it's called a glory kill, which is basically a stylized animation. Like if you guys remember Mortal Kombat, like a fatality, essentially.
Don't let James play this game.
It's too late. He's already played it.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Because then I put it out to because I'm like, am I abusing my son for letting him play this game?
Yes.
And he's a pretty well-rounded. He's a really sweet kid. He plays Mario. Like you gotta think of the difference between like Mario and Yoshi, how sweet these characters are, to then going to Doom Eternal. The jump that he went from his Nintendo Switch, he's playing Mario Odyssey, and then I was like, here, James, take this. And now he's sawing a demon. He's tearing their brain out of their head. And he's living in
a post-apocalyptic fucking coronavirus world. Everyone's got a mask on, okay? The world has gone crazy. He's gone from Mario to Doom to killing people with chainsaws, right? He's going to have a twisted sense of reality. James might go out there and start attacking people with pitchforks.
Maybe. I hope so. I got to toughen him up. He's too much of a pussy. He's playing fucking, Jigglypuff and Mario and Yoshi and all. These are pussy-ass characters.
Whoa.
We need to get him to play some fucking Red Dead Redemption. I was like, James, come here. We're going to kill this old guy's horse. Come here.
Jigglypuff?
That's
is that actually a game? I'm like, you know what they call homosexuals in England? I'm like, easy tiger.
It's a fat homosexual, a Jigglypuff.
Who is he playing with? Oh my God.
Dude, did you ever play Red Dead Redemption?
No, I didn't, but I heard about it. I told you I have bigger fish to fry.
I played the game. I tried to. I'm too ADD to play that slow of a game, but it is fun. You could like go up to like I turned it on the other day just for the hell of it. It's been a minute. And I just walked up to a guy, and he was sitting there by a campfire with his dog, just like toasting hot dogs. And then I walked up to him, and then I shot his dog in the head.
And
that was it. The whole point of it. And then I walked away from him as he cried.
To be honest, though, listen, it is a video game. And I think most people can separate the two. It is a video game. It isn't reality. Even though I think it's calmed down now, right? A while ago, people were lobbying that these games were too violent. They do have an age restriction on them as well. But I think you've got to, unfortunately, you would have to be some kind of psycho to not be able to differentiate a video game from reality.
Well, I think it's in conjunction, right? So, I think my son or your son who are well-adjusted, sweet kids who have like nice personalities and they're not violent kids. Like if my son had violent tendencies, if he was going to school and hitting kids and being violent and like, if he was killing animals in the backyard, I would go, you know what, let's avoid Doom Eternal because I don't want to feed into that instinct. But he's the other way. He's a pussy. I need to toughen him up. We need to saw some aliens and some demons in half and just show him like, hey, James, it's not all puppies and sunshine. Go kill a fucking demon, all right?
I don't know if I agree with that. I remember Callum when he was younger. He was a couple of times we had to go into school, and I remember Rebecca, my wife, obviously. She's a sweetheart. She's very, very calm. She will never lose her temper. In fact, we talked about it the other day. We were having a conversation. She's unflappable, pretty much. She doesn't lose her temper. She's very good. I have forced her to do it on several occasions because I'm an asshole myself. But when we went into school because Callum was upset and they called us in to talk to them. And the teacher actually said, Callum needs to toughen up. Rather than say, we'll address the problem with the kid and get him to change his behavior, she said, oh no, Callum has to toughen up. And that was the one time that I really saw Rebecca like get her hackles up and kind of get not angry, but just raised her tone ever so slightly. So, so there you go. James is a sweet, innocent little kid. You don't need to change him. You need to change the external influences around him. You need to not show him honor kills or glory kills or people getting their heads off, perhaps. Maybe let's keep with the Quickie Puffs or whatever that game was called.
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff. James and the Jigglypuffs. There you go. Number one game of 2021. Let's develop it.
Doggy, I'm telling you. And obviously, I'm just kidding. But he did play it. But it's so funny because he's such a good kid. I'm very blessed that he's legitimately a fucking sweet kid.
Yeah.
Because even him at one point, he's like, Dad, this is just too violent. I shouldn't be playing this. When he goes back to playing the Switch. And he'll like, if he's had like sugar earlier in the day, he'll be like, Dad, I had sugar after lunch. I shouldn't have any dessert after. It's just like, it's crazy. Like no kids fucking do that.
It is crazy because Lucas, and I swear to God, we're not going to both sit here and kiss our own asses and say our kids are the best because like all parents think their kids are the best.
You should. If you don't think your kid's the best, you're a shitty fucking parent. You shouldn't have kids. But
there's nothing attractive about watching a podcast of two degenerates like us just going on how great our kids are.
I'm getting hammered at 2:00 in the afternoon. Like my kid rules.
Yeah. Listen, I know we suck, but our kids are fucking awesome. That's not attractive at all. Anyway, let's shift gears. Massive news yesterday. Even though Dana White said going on and on and on, and everyone was concerned, they were worried about Khabib versus Tony. It was matched up so many times, but Dana White was resilient. Dana White was persistent. He kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and that's what he does. And that's why we bigged him up so much on the last show. And then they changed it. Khabib was out. He was trapped in Russia. Then it became Tony versus Justin, and we're like Justin the Archangel and all the rest of it. Well, unfortunately, it was all for nothing because it is cancelled. The powers that be stepped in. ESPN, Disney, of course, Disney on ESPN. They had a word with Dana White and said, we want you to step down. And unfortunately, Dana's got to respect that. He's got to respect his partners. And there it is. UFC 249 off the cards, which I'm just as disappointed as anybody. I really am. I'm absolutely disappointed. But for me, and I'll let you give your take now, Lewis, for me, the only silver lining that I can see from this, and I don't know if this would even happen, but one potential is that when they rebook UFC 249, because it will happen at some point, is that maybe we'll see Khabib versus Tony again. And I'm not shitting on Justin versus Tony. I was very excited to watch that fight. But Khabib versus Tony or Habib versus Tony is the one everyone wanted to see. And maybe now we still get to see that.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we'll see. I don't really know. You would actually know better than anybody how that works. I mean, now Justin Gaethje sort of has the right to this main event for UFC 249. So technically, are they taking something away from him? It's all some big questions. And to be honest with you, I still think it's going to play out how I predicted, which is that Khabib's next fight is going to be Conor McGregor. But we'll see. Please mark it down. That's my prediction. That's how it's all the MMA guys are going to make that happen.
Connor's next fight, well, hold on a minute because the coronavirus has changed everything, but Connor's next fight will be Nate Diaz 3.
You think so, Mara? We'll see.
That's my guess. That's my semi-educated, non-circle of trust guess. That's just me throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks. But yeah.
Do you want to bet?
I want to bet. And if I'm right, you got to shave your head.
If I'm right, you have to blow Harrington. How about that? Those are the loser blows Harrington.
No deal. No deal. Jesus Christ, we're moving away from the crudeness and we're trying to be solid parents.
Oh, sorry. I'm dragging you down. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Yes. So okay. So all right. So we'll see what happens with. I don't really know. I mean, I guess that is a silver lining. How disheartening this must be for Dana White because he's got to put on a face, obviously, and he's the head of this company, he's the figurehead, and he's an incredible businessman. And I have so much respect for the move, and it was so baller the way we talked about it so much in the last show. But you're just there. You're like, I got it all together. Holy shit, I fucking did it. And then ESPN and Disney and these massive partners that you have to respect, they came in and they come in and they say you got to do it, and it's just he has to be just like. I don't know. Just I could only imagine how much that it just must fucking kill him because he did everything he was supposed to do. He did every single thing he was supposed to do. They seemed like they were trying to comply and keep everybody safe, but it was maybe it's a blessing in disguise. He was going to get fucking trashed for putting on this event. I think, yeah, people were being shitty about it as it is. So I don't know.
Some of the MMA media right now, they're gloating. They're happy. They're talking shit. And listen, I mean, I'm a big advocate of the self-quarantine and the self-isolation, as everybody knows. But if there was a way that they could do it, where they were respecting the virus and they were not going to, they were going to test everybody and things like that, they could do it in a safe way, then yeah, I was all for it. But to see the people reveling in glory, some of the MMA journalists, some of the MMA media, which is a really loose term at best, and then they wonder why they don't get credentialed to fights. They wonder why the UFC doesn't take them on board and really get behind their shitty MMA page when they take so much glory in reveling in the downfall or any problems for the UFC. It kind of makes me sick. But listen, I guess Dana had no choice. Anytime you've got the governor of California, and then there was a senator, I forget the lady's name, the senator as well. There was a senator involved. There was the governor of California. They reached out. From what I'm reading online, they spoke to Disney and ESPN, and then they made a phone call. It's like, listen, they're all, they're the broadcasting partner. And if the broadcasting partner isn't going to essentially broadcast it and they're asking them to step down, then, they are in it together. It is a partnership. You've got to respect the masses.
What is, I don't understand. So, I'm looking at the MMA Fighters Association. I'm looking at a couple of the MMA journalists, and they're gloating in the fact that this is being canceled. What is the argument? Is the argument that it's dangerous for fighters to be showing up and fighting each other because there's a pandemic?
Well, I'm not too sure because I haven't read too much, but I mean, I would assume the argument is yeah, it's just that. It's going against the grain of what everybody's saying. UFC were trying to problem solve. As Dana said, he does that on a weekly basis. That's what he deals with, ever since he's been involved with the UFC. So
owning a business in general is putting out fires. And this, Bisping. How many people, you own a few businesses, right? You, even just, your own MMA career to this podcast, to those things, those are businesses in itself. Owning a business is just every day putting out fires and trying to fix problems and fixing leaks everywhere. And that's part of his job.
So that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing, and he was trying to keep it going ahead. But listen, it comes from the top. With Disney and ESPN, they're the broadcasting partners. Disney own ESPN. ESPN own the broadcast rights to the UFC. If they say they're not going to broadcast them, then there's no point putting the fights on because there's going to be no crowd there. And if there's no crowd and there's no broadcasting partner that's going to broadcast it, then why are they going to do that?
Was 249 supposed to be on ESPN, not a pay-per-view?
Well, ESPN owned the rights to the pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, it fucking sucks. Everyone was looking forward to that fight, but it's gone. It's gone. It's done. It's over. No more. UFC, well, I shouldn't say no more. UFC 249 will still take place. We don't know when. We don't know where. Hopefully, it's Khabib versus Tony. And I say that with the greatest of respect to Justin Gaethje because Justin Gaethje is going to be pretty pissed off, I think Dominic Cruz was meant to fight Henry Cejudo on that card as well. So Henry Cejudo and Dominic Cruz are both going to be pissed off.
Yeah, the whole fight card was stacked front to back. I mean, it was, it's a fucked up situation, especially for, the UFC. They built this sport off of this foundation of against all the odds. Dude, there was so many. I just wonder, I would love to just be a fly on the wall with some of those conversations where it's God damn it, dude, you grow this thing to where it's so huge and so massive that it's in a weird way. That's what you lose control of it. And at that point, Dana White did everything he could. The UFC did everything they could. And I think a lot of,
it's like Wayne's World. You know what I mean? Like Wayne's World, when they were in the basement, they controlled everything. It's like, woo, 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 party on. Wayne's World, all that shit. And then they get bought out by that big TV studio and this and that, and it's no longer their show. I'm not saying that's the case, but I don't know. That popped into my mind for some reason. I tell you what, though, it was the day before yesterday, we had the news that Rose Namajunas was out of the fight, and that was the Kona main event. Pardon me, I'm losing, can't fucking speak. Rose Namajunas versus Jessica Andrade, the rematch. That was the co-main event, and I was super excited for that one. And then the news came out that Rose was out. I was like, oh, shit. I was definitely bummed out about that fight. And the reason being is, unfortunately, apparently I'm hearing Rose has lost 2 family members to the coronavirus. So she's just she couldn't go ahead and fight. So, I mean, that's just absolutely heartbreaking. So my thoughts and condolences are to her and her entire family. But then the day after, boom, there it is. UFC 249 officially postponed for now.
Yeah. Yeah, it just sucks. I mean, we were so excited. You heard the difference in the tone. We started talking about MMA again on the last show. It was very exciting to be able to have news to talk about. And it was a little bit disheartening. So hopefully things start to, they figure out some of these solutions and things work out. But
I had a whole night planned. Me and Callum were saying just a couple of days ago, it's going to be great. Can't wait for next Saturday. We're going to cook a meal. Maybe, let's be honest, we're probably going to order some pizzas, watch the prelims, all the whole bit. Sitting on a Saturday, and it's weird. It's like, remember those days? Remember when you could sit in on a Saturday and have friends round or have pizza and whatnot and watch sport? Just sit on the couch, because this was an event that I wasn't working either. So I could sit there, because a lot of the time I don't get to do that either because I'm working them, which is great. I'm not bitching, but it's nice when you don't. And especially when it's a massive pay-per-view like this. So we were all excited for that. And I'm sure we're not the only ones that are disappointed. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that we get to see some of these fights. A lot of questions up in the air still, and obviously we're going to keep our fingers on the pulse of what's going on with the UFC and then the future fights.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what we have got, UFC 249 has gone away, but we're going to bring you, the Believe You Me podcast is going to provide you with a little element of UFC 249 because Marlon Chito Vera, who was supposed to fight Ray Borg, he's joining us on the show right now. What's up, Marlon Chito Vera on the Believe You Me podcast? Marlon, I know it's a difficult day for you probably. Yesterday, you found that UFC 249 was canceled. We're going to get into all of that. But thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us.
Oh, thank you, man. It's a pleasure for me to be here talking to you. And yeah, dude, it was a bummer. I was ready to go, man. I've been training nonstop forever. So I was happy I got an opportunity to be. This actually to me was the BMF card. They called me on Monday. I was like, Monday? It's no timer. Let's go.
It has to be an emotional roller coaster because 1 minute you're fighting, the next minute you're not fighting. Just talk to us a little bit about that. I mean, you have a family, you have a couple of kids. What is it like to sort of be in this limbo state and not know when you're going to fight? And what was it like to think you were going to fight and then to lose it?
Well, it is a roller coaster. It is very emotional because since my last fight in October, I did like the perfect time, and I won the fight again to the rankings. Then I was trying to fight a big fight to get me to a title contention at some point. I get the Jimmy Rivera fight in February. He bailed out the second time, so I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It is what it is. I cannot be chasing any grown man to fight. Find somebody else. So that fight got canceled. I was like, it's okay. It's just February. I get rescheduled to fight March 28th with Eddie Wineland, which is a veteran. I was happy to get that fight. Then the coronavirus pandemic canceled everything. Then Dana White did a great job. Find us a car on Tachipalas, BMF car, like make a call to whoever is ready, take it. They call me. I say yes right away. 2 different guys declined the fight. And Raver was the one to take it, and then again win the cancellation. But it was hard. I gotta be honest, and as a man, yeah, I cried a little bit. It did affect me. I was upset about it, but I'm like, I take 1 day off today, which is my regular day off, but then tomorrow I go back to work.
Did you feel like you were ready? Because you said I guess Dana White called a bunch of fighters to see who was sort of ready. How ready did you feel like you were for this fight?
I will say 100% because my cardio was great. I've been doing a lot of conditioning. I've been doing a lot of back work. I get it, and I don't have the gym. I don't have my teammates around, but everybody's in the same situation. So I'm like, I was getting the best of it. I fixed like a little garage a little gym in my garage, and then I was training every day, twice a day. I was running a lot, hitting the bag, then the most important part is your mind. If your mind is ready to go, you're ready to go. You know, I have the blessing to have Parillo coming to my house twice a week to get me ready. That was probably my biggest card to play, because I had one coach of all my coaches coming to my house, and you know, he worked my boxing good. He told me my cardio was good. He told me he told me a couple of tips too. You know, he was making sure my mind were sharp. You know, that's Bisping now. He's a good guy when it comes to talking you how to get you ready and mean to fuck somebody up.
Oh, Jason Perillo's the man. They don't get much better than that, you know. He's a bit of a psycho, though. We had him on our show a couple of weeks ago, and he was on a good one. He was on a good one, but I love that guy like a brother. So have the UFC told you anything about when to expect another fight, anything like that?
My manager is working on that right now. Technically, now they're talking about the island, the crazy island, so I would love to fight in an island. That would be dope. So I know one thing. If you're ready, the opportunity will show up, you know. So I'm gonna stay healthy, stay positive, and there's nothing you can do, you know. If you focus on the stuff you cannot control, you're gonna be trapped in a hole, and you're gonna go down that rabbit hole, and you're not gonna find nothing good. So to me, you know, I wash my hands, wash my face. That's in the past. Today's my day off. I'm gonna still eating clean as always. I'm gonna stay sharp, and tomorrow morning I go back to training. You know, I will go back to lifting heavy weights, doing long runs, hitting the bag, and I will make calls to my coaches and ask them what to do and how to be prepared, because there's only one thing we can do as an athlete, and it's being prepared.
You know, to be honest, you've well, you're absolutely right. You got to stay prepared. You're still young enough, and I believe you'll be the champion one day. You're on a terrific win streak right now. Is it 5 in a row? 5 in a row, and they're all stoppages?
Yes, sir.
5 in a row, all stoppages. But you've seen this before, because when you were supposed to fight Sugar Sean O'Malley, right? And then you got pulled from the card at the last minute. Then what happened there?
Well, they offered me a short notice newcomer. They told me, like, hey, we have this kid. He never fought in the UFC, but he's willing to take the fight. He was supposed to fight in LFA at the end of the same month. So the kids were ready. I was like, that's a step back, but you know, I don't make money of pulling off. So I was like, you know, fuck it, bring it in. And then, you know, those fights are the most dangerous, because those guys have nothing to lose. They just come and swing wild at you, and they want to take your head off, because if they beat you, they take your spot, they take your name, they take everything away from you. And that's what really gets me excited about this game, because it's like, it's not just about like, okay, now it's two high-level guys fighting, both have something to win, both have the same to lose. But when you fight a guy like that just came from nowhere, everything to lose, nothing to win. So those things get me excited too. Those things make me wake up every morning thinking, there's some motherfucking guy training right now to take my head off. So I wake up every morning worried I need to get shit done. So that's what drives me every day.
Well, sorry, Lewis, go ahead, buddy.
Sorry, Mike, I apologize. So I just wanted to ask you about, you know, obviously this weekend the fight's off. Have you heard anything about any sort of compensation? You know, do you know what's going to happen with that?
Well, Dana said at least for the fighters on this card, they're gonna get taken care of, like the people in London. So, you know, I'm expecting something, not just because the fight got canceled, but at least personally, this is my third in a row got canceled, you know. And then, you know, I feel if you're good to the company's gonna be good for you. You know, I've been taking any short notice they offer me. I fought in 6 days notice before. I went I traveled all the way to Europe to fight Pickett in 6 days notice. I took the first fight with Jimmy Rivera in 5 days notice. So, you know, I feel I've been doing my part, and I'm expecting nothing but good from the UFC. So I'm confident that, and I'm not too worried, because I know I'm working my way up.
So now there's no fight. You're at home. Is it 2 or 3 kids you have?
3
kids. You got 3 kids.
They're
You're at
running
home.
all over the place.
You got no fight to train for. You can play with the kids. You can enjoy yourself. So what's on the, you know, what's the plan for the day or the weekend? I mean, of course, nobody can go outside, but it must be nice, because as a family man, I had the same thing. When you're training for a fight, it's hard to have that time with the kids. It's hard to, be a real father. But at least now, listen, I get it. You're pissed off. You're upset. You even said you shed some tears when you found out the fight was off. But if you look at the bright side is now you get to just relax and enjoy some quality family time, right?
Absolutely. Like I always try to find the good side of any negative situation. Like normally, when was the last time I have time to have no obligations? Like the world is shut down. It's not just my life. It's not like I'm injured. All my friends are training. I'm being depressed. No, everybody's at home. There's no work for nobody. I'm like, okay, yeah, it sucks. I'm not able to go and scrap the way I want because I'm ready. But I don't remember when was the last time I had 3 days at home. I train every day, twice a day, like a maniac. I don't care. Somebody want to take my life away, my dreams, my family dreams. So I'm like, I need to be ready. Now, I don't have the pressure on my back because everything is closed. So the only thing I can do is have some fun with my kids, enjoy my wife. We've been watching movies every day, and we live in the same room every day, so we're good.
You got to be careful though, Marlon. I used to have a body like you. I used to look like you. And now I've been trapped in my house for 4 weeks. I'm a fat motherfucker right now. I am hitting the gym as soon as we can, but you got to be careful.
Oh, man. You know how much I was weighing yesterday? I was 149. And wow. I wake up weighing the same. The way I eat, it's just, I believe I eat perfect like an athlete. I don't put any, I have only one cheat meal a week, and that's it. Like, I'm willing to take any fight if they give me 5 days, I can make 135 because I'm conscious of what I eat, how I eat it, and when I eat it. So, I've been home, but I'm running over 10 miles 3 times a week. I'm hitting the bag.
Are you running with Jason? You're running with Jason? Because I know Perillo's running like a crazy motherfucker every day.
He's in good shape. The other day we started boxing and I'm surprised. I was breathing and he was not breathing. I was like, okay, wait a minute. I need to pick up my running now. But that's the only thing we can do now. It's running like maniacs. And that gives you a lot of cardio.
Well, I mean, how without sparring, how much do you think that's sort of affecting you and sort of affecting your progress?
Man, I think it's actually healthy to stop sparring for a little bit. We spar a lot, man. We spar like twice a week. Like, I get it. You get your time, you get this, you get that. But one of my couple best performances were when I wasn't sparring at all. Because I feel when you spar a lot, you always hurt something. You hurt your hands, you hurt your feet. I'm a kicker. My foot is always fucked up. My toes are always hurt. My shin always hurt. And then all my shin problems didn't come from running, didn't come from hitting the back. Came from kicking somebody in the head. Yeah, good job, you kick him in the head. But what hurt the most? Your foot or your head? Of course your head hurts, but you hurt your foot too. So I think this time off of sparring, you just make my body heal. And make me want to fight even more. Because the more you spar and the more you think, you're like, oh, I need to fix it, to fix that. When you have no sparring, you just go and scrap. And it's actually, I feel better.
And it's not only the short-term injuries, it's the long-term injuries to the brain as well, because most of the damage is done in sparring. I mean, I used to do sometimes 3-4 times a week, 5-minute rounds with multiple partners. And you know what we're like. We might have headgear on for one round, and then you say, fuck this, take it off, and you're not wearing headgear.
I don't use it at all.
Sorry?
I don't use headgear at all.
No, me neither. I mean, I tried to because as I got older, I understood that it's dangerous not to. So I said, okay, I'm going to wear the headgear. Then you start getting caught with punches that you wouldn't normally get hit with. And you're like, oh, fuck this. You rip it off. And let's go nice and light today. Let's go nice and light. And then 5 minutes later, you're knocking the shit out of each other.
Me and my team, it's like, my body hurts. Let's just like go spit. The first punch connect. Fuck you, mate. Boom. It's a crap. It's a real fight.
Exactly.
We should make him one of his sparring too.
Oh, I know. So listen, you're from Ecuador. I'm seeing on the news that the situation in Ecuador is really, really bad. I saw a story. I don't know if it's true because you know how the media are, but I saw stories that there's body bags in the street and there's a lot of dead people around. How is the situation in Ecuador?
It's bad, man. It's bad. Like I was. Also, that's why I get super emotional when this fight didn't happen because I was like already making up a speech for my country. I was already writing things down to what to tell them after a great victory. I was like thinking things how to make them happy at least for one day, because the hospitals are packed, the mortuaries are, they don't have any more space for dead people. So what people is doing is like wrapping them up and putting outside the door, and that's fucking crazy. Like, thank God my family, my mom, my dad, my uncles, they're fine. A couple of them test positive, like, but they find a way to go around and fix things. But things are crazy over there. Like, people is actually dying on the streets. Like, my friends send me videos, and videos like, I know where that part of the city is. Like, there's no whole video, and then people are just like buying masks on the streets and just falling down like of nothing. It's getting crazy. It's really sad, and doesn't hurt me because that's my country, that's my people, and I just don't like to see them like that.
Yeah, so that's really sad. I mean, the idea that you don't have the opportunity to sort of spread the awareness for your country that way sucks. And I know Bisping, I know how important it was for him to be the first British MMA champion, first British UFC champion, rather. How important is that for you to represent Ecuador and bring the title home? And I don't know how many Ecuadorian fighters are on the roster, but
is MMA, is it a big thing in Ecuador? Do people watch?
It is. It's getting, the most they win, the most popular it gets, and people get excited. The jiu-jitsu community throw 1-2 fighters. The kickboxing community throw 1-2 fighters. But I just don't see it's linking together. Like, I don't see like they put together something to make it big. Like, sometimes when I talk to the UFC, I'm like, hey, like, when they ask me, like, hey, some people we should sign. Like, I know most of them, but the ones from Peru, from Colombia, from like around Ecuador, they're making it to the UFC. But I don't see nobody in Ecuador right now that is ready to fight tomorrow for the UFC. There's a lot of kids that want it, but every time I go back and we train, I'm like, dude, you're still in the same spot you were like a couple years ago when I came last and we trained. But I don't know. I think we need more coaches. I don't think the athlete is a problem. They need coaches. But sometimes you don't have the coaches. Sometimes you gotta migrate. Sometimes, hey, you don't have a visa. That's fine. Go to Brazil. You're gonna find real training in Brazil. And then if you have a visa, go to American Top Team. Go to somewhere in California. There's millions of gyms here, but people don't want to make the effort sometimes.
So I'm going to share a funny story with you, Lewis. And Marlon, I don't know if you remember this. I was so fucking embarrassed. You know what I'm going to talk about, right?
I hope I know.
No, nothing bad. Don't worry. Remember when I fought Anderson Silva, you fought Davy Grant. Yeah. Lewis, check this out. At the time, and I apologize, Marlon. Like, me and Marlon are good buddies. We train with each other, whatever. But at the time, I wasn't too familiar with Marlon. And we were in a room. We were just going to go on stage. I think we were getting our gloves, right?
Yeah, it was right before going to the weigh-ins.
Yeah, we were going to go to the weigh-ins, and Davy Grant, that was Marlon's opponent. I used to train with Davy Grant, and Davy Grant's a great guy. He's a good dude, good fighter as well. So that was a really good win for you, Marlon, because he's really...
No, he beat me.
Oh, did he? Oh, shit, my bad. I'm sorry. I'm getting it all wrong. But either way, he's a fucking good fighter, whatever. And Davy Grant's in the room, and Marlon is stood right there. And Davey comes up and he's like, hey, man, how you doing? And I'm like, hey, good to see you, Marlon. How you doing? And then I see Davey Grant. Well, hey, Davey, what's up, buddy? I say, who you fighting? And he says, Marlon Vera. I'm like, oh, really? I said, oh, don't worry about him. You'll fuck him up. But I didn't know that Marlon was standing right there. And I was like, oh, shit.
And then your coach was like, yo, that's Marlon Vera. And I was like,
yeah,
you motherfucker.
And then my coach, Daz Morris, was like, Mike, he's standing right there. I'm like, oh, shit. My God. Good
dude,
times.
Those were my all wild days. Like, I was training in Ecuador. It was like not training partners at all. No infrastructure. It was just me, one coach, two friends. Like, what I'm doing today? I don't know. Let's do conditioning. What I'm doing tonight? I don't know. Let's do some this. Like, it was all like that. And then I'm so glad that was my last fight. I was like, okay, I cannot be losing by decision just because I don't have the right things and tools. I was like, that's it for me. I just decided to migrate, left my family for 1 year, and now we're here.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, something must have changed because, you know, you were a good fighter. You were doing well. You were winning some. You were losing some. But now you look like a different person. As I said at the start, I do truly believe you'll be champion one day. You're on a 5-fight win streak, all stoppages. Something definitely changed. And so, but I think you just answered that. It was moving to the US and getting proper training.
Absolutely. Like, I move here. I find a team. And then, you know, I went on a winning streak. Then I get short when I fought like young Lineker. He was top 5 when I fought him. I was like not even in the rankings. I think it was a fun fight. It was a close fight. He just put a little bit more output than I did, and I was like, okay. After that fight, I was like, okay, now I need more. I was already in the US, but I need to find like the wrestling coach, the boxing coach, and now I feel I put everything together, and I feel like those coaches have the right thing to tell me, and I feel I'm on fire. Like, I wake up every morning like wanting things more than the day before.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting to say that because we've talked about this before in the past. It almost seems like the more money you start making, the easier it becomes to train at a higher level. You know, did you sort of experience that? Because, you know, in the beginning, it must be really tough to just really do anything. Maybe what is some advice you can give to a guy that might not have the money to be able to travel or get the visa or do any of that stuff?
Like most people.
Well, like, for example, like a guy like me, if you're in Ecuador and you don't have the visa to come to the US, go to Brazil. Go to Brazil. Like, when I moved here, I came with $3-4 grand. And then I was like, that was it. Yeah, that was it. But there's always a way if you look for a way to get in. Like, sometimes people sit down and expect things to come, and nothing's gonna come to you but a fucking piece of shit. You gotta go and earn it. You gotta go out and look for it. Like, if you knock this door and that door don't answer, go knock 30,000 more doors. Like I think like that. I think like it doesn't matter how I'm gonna do it, but I will do it. I will find a way to go around it. And sometimes people get comfy and they sit down and they wait for somebody to bring them everything, and that ain't gonna happen. You have to go and look for it.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. It's like I always say, quitters never win, which is available at diversionbooks.com. But listen, Marlon, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. I know you are an inspiration to people in Ecuador. You represent your country really well. We thank you for joining us. Is there anything you want to say before we let you go?
Oh, well, I just want to, I think we're talking to Lou. Thank you, man. I appreciate the time to talk to you too. And yeah, man, I will keep training. I will keep running. I will keep staying ready, and let's go, you know?
Well, as soon as my knee heals up, I had surgery last week, and as soon as it's safe to be in the same gym together, I'm going to come down there and you can kick my ass one day. So I look forward to it.
I will love it. As I told you the other day, I text you. I was watching your documentary in Fight Pass, and then I started watching a couple of your fights, and I was like, wait a minute. Of everything, he make changes, he make adjustments, he get better, but the thing that never changed was that fucking pace. And I was like, hey, what you did for conditioning?
Yeah.
Take me all those tips, because, you know, I watch like at least 4 hours of fights a day. And then I take notes. I'm like, okay, these fighters do this a lot. If I have the chance to meet the fighter, I ask him like, hey, how you do that? When you do it? So I feel cardio is the most important. Cardio and strength in this game. You know, if you have that, the rest will come easy.
It's by far the most important. I learned that at an early age. I remember I had a kickboxing fight. It was 8 rounds. I hadn't trained at all. And for the first 4 rounds, I kicked this guy's ass, but I didn't finish it, right? So then the next 4, I was fucking dying. This guy was beating the shit out of me. And, you know, I managed to go the distance, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't fight. I was just so tired. So I learned from that day forward, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how good your skills are. If you're fucking tired, none of those skills matter. So cardio, listen, you got to have the skills. You got to be able to fight. You got to do the jiu-jitsu, all that type of stuff. But if you run out of gas, you run out of steam, you're fucked.
You're done.
You're done.
You're fucked.
Talking of done, you're fucking done. We'll let you go, Marlon. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Really appreciate it. All the best.
Love you guys. Have a good one. Thank you so much.
See you, buddy.
Very inspirational stuff there. I love that way of thinking. I think the same way. You have to sort of set the goals and realize that if you believe in yourself, you'll find that path. You really will. Like if you have talent and you don't even really have to have that much talent. I think just having really setting goals and sort of staying on that path. More people, if you guys just sort of believed in yourselves, I think you would get a lot further along. And that's a great point in the way that he put it. I thought was really inspirational. So
yeah, well, he's absolutely right. I mean, for one, in Ecuador, as I say, I was curious to know about the MMA state in Ecuador, but it's not too far from Brazil and places like that, so you can get training. But it's interesting that once he moved out to somewhere where he was getting proper training, because that's what you need, right? It doesn't necessarily matter what country you're in, as long as you're getting the correct training. Like I used, obviously I'm English, and a lot of people thought that I left England because I couldn't, become a champion or whatever. That's not why I left. You can still become a champion in England, but obviously England is much further ahead in terms of mixed martial arts development than what Ecuador is, right? There's a lot of good wrestling there, a lot of good trainers, a lot of good fighters.
Back then, even I would say it's probably, I don't know if it's there was a lot of people fighting back then.
Oh, no.
When you came up, I mean, when he said that, it kind of reminded me of that, because you probably would have said something similar. How many guys were ready from the English MMA scene for the UFC when you got into the UFC? Probably not many.
No. None. There had been a couple before me: Ian Freeman, Lee Remedios, Mark Weir. There was a few guys, but yeah, there wasn't a scene like there is now. But just what he said there, I really related to when he used to go to the gym in Ecuador, and they'd be like scratching their head, and they just make it up as they go along. So okay, maybe we'll just do this today, as opposed to when you work with a real coach, they've sat down, they've watched the fighter, they highlight weaknesses, strengths, things like that, and then they formulate a game plan. So anyway, Marlon Vera, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Sorry to hear about the breakup of your fight, but
well, even expand on that a little more. I apologize.
No, you're good.
Unless you want to move on, but I think it is kind of interesting because you sort of see it a lot when guys get to the UFC. It's almost like you go like, well, now you could really see how good they are, because now they're actually going to have much more opportunities to bring in higher level training partners, be able to afford to travel to go train. It's almost like, you have to, as a young fighter, it's like an investment. You're investing a large percentage of the amount of money that you're making to be able to train with good partners. But as you get, Nick Diaz was talking about GSP, talking about how he just had like all of the advantages in the world because he was so rich and could just train anywhere.
And he did, and he does. And I used to think this back in the day when I wanted to fight Anderson Silva. I'm not talking about when I did fight him. I'm talking way before that, right? When, 2009, 2008, I wanted to fight Anderson Silva. And I used to think, fucking hell, this guy's got all the advantages. He's making millions of dollars. He's got his own gym. He's got fucking trainers. He's got masseuse. He's got all these people on deck, on tap. He's got a wrestling expert, a BJJ expert, a kickboxing expert. He's got his own chef. He's got all these advantages. And they are advantages, but you don't start off with them, right? You accumulate them as you go along. So at the start, you're just like anyone. You're just like Marlon was back in Ecuador, right? You're trying to piece it together, but then you start making changes, and then you move to somewhere else. You move to another city or another country, and then you start working your way up, because at the start, you're fighting people in a similar scenario. It used to be when you got in the UFC, there you go. There's Chuck Liddell or whoever it was, right? But now there's more of a grading system. You start off, you're on the prelims, you fight another entry-level fighters. Those other entry-level fighters, unless they come from a wealthy background or they got some special deal with the super gym, they're doing the same thing. They're piecing it together. They're trying to make ends meet as they go along. And as you work your way up the pecking order, the purses get bigger, the exposure gets bigger, you get more sponsors, and you get better training partners. And it's all about having the skills, the toughness, and the staying power to get through all of that. Because I know a lot of fighters that were good, that had the ability to go the whole way, but at some time, they just said to themselves, you know what? I'm tapping out. I can't take this, because it is a struggle. And there's no guarantees in the fight game or in any professional athlete's world. Okay, maybe if you sign with the NBA, it's different. Sign with the NFL, it's different. But in combat sports, boxing, MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai, whatever, there's no fucking guarantees. And you're putting your body through all this work, all this sacrifice, time away from your family, time away from your children, missed opportunities. You're turning other opportunities down to earn other money because you're like, no, I'm going to be a fighter. And I know a lot of people that were good, that were talented, that just couldn't put up with that. And they said, you know what? It ain't for me. And guess what? They're the motherfuckers that never made it to the top, because once again, quitters don't win, baby boy.
Baby boy. I mean, look, I can relate on a very, very big way. You are, it's a belief in this. It's a crazy thing. If my son were to come to me and say, I want to be a professional mixed martial artist and become a UFC champion, that's crazy. I mean, look, I have a different way of thinking. So I would go like, all right, cool. There's a path. Let's figure that out for you. But it is sort of a crazy thing that very few people not only will have the opportunity to do, but would even want to do. But I can relate with comedy as well, because you do it in the beginning and there is no way of knowing whether or not you're going to make it until you are completely invested, until you've given it all, until you're a decade in. Right. My cousin, I have a female cousin who asked me, she was like, I'm interested in doing stand-up comedy. And I gave her this long speech about how, like, you got to want to do it and you got to be funny. And, because there's no money for the first 10 years and you're not even going to know if you can do this for the rest of your life until you've sort of invested everything and all of your friends are comedians and this is your whole life. And I give her this big, long speech. And then at the end of it, she's like, yeah, I don't want to do that. I was like, yeah, of course you don't want to fucking do that.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. And we've talked about this before. There is a lot of parallels between comedy and mixed martial arts. And there's another thing that just occurred to me. Look behind me. There's a set of turntables. You look over there, there's thousands of records now. There's more in the garage. DJing was a similar thing. I fell in love with the music. I wanted to be a DJ. You make a lot of sacrifices. You spend money. You buy the equipment. You dedicate so much time at the weekends collecting the records and all the rest of it. And I remember going for auditions in nightclubs. And then you start working at nightclubs. And then you're DJing and you're driving around multiple places in one weekend. But you're still making, shitty money. You know what I mean? Until you become one of the big boys. And I did that for almost 10, 15 years. And then I said, you know what? I'm never going to be Carl Cox. I'm never going to be a Judge Jules. I'm never going to be one of these big, current DJs at stadiums or in Vegas or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I tapped out. I quit. And it was probably the smart thing because whilst I was a decent DJ, I was never fucking world class. I didn't have the organization skills. I mean, if you saw my records
Bisping,
down there,
are you saying you quit and then became a world champion? So in a weird way,
I quit DJing and focused on what I really should be doing because
can win.
No, shitheads never win.
Quitters sometimes win. Quitters sometimes win. That's a fair assessment.
No. If you are doing the goal or if you're doing the purpose, what's the words I'm looking for? If you're doing the endeavor that you were put on this earth to do, then quitters never win. If you're mistakenly going down the wrong avenue, right? You didn't read the signpost and you're going down the wrong avenue and looking for number 24, but the wrong person lives there. You're never going to find your destination. Okay. Now I was at nightclubs and I was DJing, but I was also working as a doorman on the sly as well and getting into a few fisticuffs along the way. I'm like, yeah, I'm a sick DJ, but I'm better with these things, maybe. So, anyway, that's where we went with that one.
Yeah. Well, how much? It's so funny, like, because you met Rebecca when you were really young. You were like 21, right?
Yeah, 20.
You had no idea that you were going to become a UFC fighter and a champion. Think about all of the vagina that you left on the table. God damn it, Bisping. What is wrong with you?
Well, no, I met Rebecca when I was 20 years old. I was a DJ at a pub. The Starkey Arms in Clitheroe. It was more like a nightclub. It was the closest thing to a nightclub that Clitheroe had. And met her at 20 years old, but there you go.
All right, really quick, guys. If you love the show, go to our iTunes right now. Leave us a 5-star ranking and a positive review. I said this in the last show. We're going to pick 5 reviewers this month that we're going to give away some Sanabul gloves and gear to. We're unloading these gloves, Bisping.
7,363 pairs of gloves, okay? We're putting Sanabul out of business. All you got to do now is send a tweet. You get a pair. You got to send in me with some kind of hairstyle. You get a pair. Or you could stick to the actual regulations of the competition and send in a piece of branded video content. You could do that, But Lewis, it feels like he has carte blanche to give away Sanabul gloves on a daily basis. But go ahead, my friend.
Also, if you guys simply go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, free Sanabul gloves. Anybody who subscribes to our YouTube channel, free Sanabul gloves. We're giving them away. You get Sanabul gloves. You get Sanabul gloves.
We all get a pair of Sanabul gloves. But yeah, please do that. Please tell your friends. Go to iTunes, leave a 5-star review. Subscribe. Tell your friends, please. Because everybody, listen, I love doing this show. I know you do. We all get a kick out of doing it. And people seem to enjoy it. I know we act like idiots at times, but you stick with us and we appreciate it. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
And last but not least, also, if you guys want access to every episode we've ever done, they're available on demand at gasdigitalnetwork.com. The entire on-demand library. We're actually giving away a 30-day free trial for the premium service. Just use the promo code BYM30. Get a free 30 days while you're hanging out at home with nothing better to do.
All you've got to do is send a tweet and you get 30 days from Gas Digital and the pair of Sanabul gloves, and I'll send you a gold watch. Just a tweet.
Harrington will blow you.
And we send you a login for Doom, the code on PS4. What else you got, Lewis?
A lot of issues. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, it is time to bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Uriah Faber.
Bisping.
Whoa, look at this. Uriah, I've got to say, first of all, you're a Hall of Famer. You're an entrepreneur. Why do you have the shittest swimming pool known to man?
Well, it's not built yet, dummy. Observe.
Okay.
All good things come in time.
Secondly, you shouldn't be outside. You told us you're out going for a walk with the family. You are flaunting the quarantine rules, and you are flaunting the rules of style with that horrendous facial hair. What is going on?
This is all part of the quarantine. We're basically just, letting it all hang out, the path of least resistance. I don't get hardly any hair on this side. I get like 0 hair on this side, and I get a little bit on this side, so I look like a homeless person. So I just sitting around bored, didn't do the full shave, and here we are. This is the first time I've ever been able to have facial hair where I can actually stick a.
Hey, listen, I'll be honest. It looks better than what I can go. This is as good as it gets with me. And from here on out, I just look more and more homeless. So, Uriah, you have me beat in the facial hair department.
Yeah, Uriah, I feel like you have the very signature dimple in your chin. And I feel like when you grow that facial hair, it covers it up. I feel like you're not as recognizable.
I know. I haven't been out in the street, so when it's time to walk back out, I'll reintroduce the butt chin.
So, all right. First of all, thank you for joining us. Okay, we're going to end the ball busting session right there. But in fact, hold on. I got one more thing. You're covering the butt chin. Is that why you're doing this? Is that a conscious effort? That never even occurred to me.
I'm just waiting for requests. When the requests come in, the butt's coming out.
Well, listen, Uriah, obviously, hold on. I was going to say, obviously, you're retired now. But are you retired now? Because I know you came back. You were trying to get another shot at the belt. Obviously, your last fight didn't go your way. Where do you stand right now as a competitor?
When I get ready to take a fight, I need to get myself in tip-top shape. And unfortunately, with this quarantine and whatnot, I've been the most inactive I've ever been. Especially, I got my running stroller taken off my porch, and that was kind of my go-to workout. So at this point, I think it would be a quick, switch of mindset and a couple weeks of hard work to get myself in great shape. And I'm not ruling out anything, especially, coming out of this. Who knows how the economy is going to be? Cash is going to be king. It might be time to come in and scoop up some dough and turn that into more dough, So we'll see. I'm not opposed to it. It's always a good time to fight. You know that. It's hard to say no. But nothing scheduled or nothing like at the top of mind.
I mean, what do you think of all this? Because, there are guys that are sort of, we just talked to Marlon Vera and had a great conversation, and he was essentially just saying, hey, I'm just trying to stay in shape. There are guys that are sort of waiting on calls right now. There was supposed to be a fight this weekend. What do you think about sort of the way the UFC is handling it? And what do you think about them having to cancel this event that was supposed to happen on Saturday?
It's pretty unfortunate they had to cancel the event. Dana, give him props for trying his hardest, and he was going to stay within the quarantine suggested rules, from what I understand, keeping people in just tiny little clusters and only having really the two fighters that are going to interface and have real close interaction. So I applaud him for making the effort, and I think the bigger powers to be are the ones that called the thing off. And, you got to respect that as well. Everyone's looking out for their liability, for their health of the community, of people they care about. So, it is what it is. It's hard to make sense of all this. I've been doing a lot of research, and I keep wavering on things. One thing's for sure, Carol Baskin fed her husband to the Tigers. But the coronavirus thing is still, there's so many theories about it. It's like, what exactly is going on? They talk about the flu numbers. 49 million people get the flu. 54,000 in the U.S. alone die each year. And, it's kind of a weird thing. There's a lot of politics and world politics that are involved. And so there's conspiracy theories. And it's just a trip to me. I'm going to do my part and try to make the best of everything.
You're right. Let me cut you off because you're about to set Bisping off.
No.
I see him. I see him.
I have to respond. Because it's clear from what you just said, Uriah, where your heart lies, what you think. You think it's all bullshit. Listen, the flu, they have a vaccine. You can go and get it. This is a new unprecedented attack, an invisible attack that we cannot see. People are dying every single day.
Bisping, can I add to the numbers real quick?
Can be eradicated by staying inside. No,
Bisping.
You may not speak. This is my question. Uriah Faber, you're out of your goddamn mind, brother.
No, can I add to the numbers as well? 250,000 medical malpractice. 250 medical malpractice deaths per year.
Okay.
More people will die from doctor accidents than COVID-19 this year.
Look at how many people die from having pools in their backyard.
Especially empty pools. They fucking hurt when you fall in.
Well, give me 2.5 weeks, the pool won't be empty. Things are being done as we speak. I don't know if I can afford it after this whole quarantine thing's over, though. You know, I might have to just return all the materials.
Tell me about it. These guys always bust my ball saying I live in a half mansion, but that's going to be a quarter mansion pretty fucking soon. I'll tell you that. All right. So here's something really exciting that you've been working on. Green Rush. Is that the correct title of it? I know you're in the movie business these days. You're a big shot movie producer. You know, tell us all about your latest endeavor.
I sense the sarcasm. We've got a big one in the makes called Manly Art of the KO, and I was considering Bisping for it. We got a huge director who's signed on and going to do some big things. But because of the sarcasm, I'll just negate you from the calling.
Hey!
You know?
First of all,
McGregor gave me a little sarcasm too. I'm like, dude, be careful, guys. You're gonna put yourselves in a bad place when things start taking off.
Hold on, Uriah. Listen, I have known you since 2008. I met Uriah Faber in an airport in Afghanistan. I had no idea who he was, and this fucking asshole started busting my balls right from the offset. I'm like, who are you? We don't get WEC in England. You're not the champ to me. So forgive me if I bust your balls a little bit. You weren't the champ. I don't know what WEC is. WEC. Why 3 random letters? What is this? No, bro. I'm joking. I'm very, very proud of the moves that you're making. I really am. So come on, tell us about the movie.
Yeah. So like I said, man, this is our first feature film for our production company, and we had a bunch of folks that are involved in the MMA space. Rick Lee is the one that came with the concept and co-producer on this thing, and a bunch of aspiring, high-level actors, working actors that got involved, and of course Andre Touchy-Feely, he made his debut in this thing. But it's an awesome movie, man. We kicked butt. I just watched Murder Mountain last night, which is a Netflix doc on Northern California, like the dark side of the weed industry, and ours is based on a true story and true events, and of course made it movie ready by adding some action and some really cool twists that people are going to love. But this is the type of movie you're going to want to watch twice. It's not just an action flick. It's kind of like a slow burn, picks up pace, and then you're into a crazy, wild adventure. So we're pretty proud of this thing, man. And it's just the beginning on the movie front, but everybody's going to be sitting at home and should definitely check it out, man. It's going to be releasing on the 14th, just 4 days away. So give it a look for sure.
Well, that's got to actually be a positive, silver lining. Everyone is sitting at home. Everyone is watching new things. People are running out of things to watch. So to be honest with you, there's probably not a better time to release a movie to stream. I was reading a little bit about the plot. A cannabis farmer and his pregnant lover fight for their lives when ruthless criminals invade their property. Any chance you could get Anthony Smith for the sequel after his crazy story from the other day?
What happened with him? I wasn't aware. What happened?
So a home intruder burst into his house on Sunday night, I think. He woke up. His wife woke him up. There was a guy in the house screaming at the top of his voice, highly intoxicated on some illegal drugs, meth, something like that. He had a huge fight with him, beat the fuck out of him. At one point had a knife to his throat, and then he held him there. After beating him up substantially and held him until the cops showed up. So it was a really crazy, scary situation. You didn't hear about that?
Yeah. Brother, my mom was staying with us quarantine, and she had the news on 24/7 while she was here. and I haven't turned the TV on once to watch any current event since then, just movies and everything else. But that's wild. I didn't know about that, man.
Well, maybe if you did turn the news on, Uriah, you would see that this is worse than the flu. Okay, but we'll leave that there.
I agree. Hey, I'm doing my part. Here I am. I'm cooped up in my house. I've shut the gyms down. I'm just saying, I got to hear every single, conspiracy theory and everything else from people from all over the world. But I'm glad you're doing your part, Bisping.
No, I know.
You're a safe guy, and appreciate that.
No, I appreciate that, Uriah. And of course, I'm busting your balls like always. Can you send us the trailer and we'll play it on the podcast if that's okay, just to show people the concept of the movie? Because I've seen the trailer and I've seen some of the work. And I got to say, I mean, you mentioned Andre Feely there making his acting debut, but the guy has a very, very good future because from what I saw, he's got a real presence.
He does, man. And that's one of the things. And I remember watching one of your movies back in the day, and you were the best part of the whole movie. I couldn't believe. Remember I told you that? I said, Bisping, you were in this terrible movie, but you did a really good job, man. And so I didn't want to make sure that Feely didn't get in that same scenario. We made an amazing movie, and he killed it in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a real natural, and he, guys like you and guys like him and guys that really believe in themselves and are willing to put in hard work can do cool things. And so he told me a long time ago that was one of his aspirations. He knocked it out of the park, and he does have a bright future. We're excited for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to watch because you are, you're still not officially retired yet, but you did retire. You came back, but you're one of the fighters that, people can look to and see, and almost use it as a model of how to handle your post-fight career. Any advice for guys that are coming up? Because Bisping's given a ton of advice, and Bisping's another example of it because he does so much. But you have a million different things in the fire. Maybe advice for young guys coming up and things that or maybe things that you would have told your younger self that you know now.
First off, I would say, and I've been guilty of this, is don't get yourself spread too thin. I've done probably 7 or 8 years of research in this industry, with mentors like Mark Schulman, who's my longtime manager in the entertainment space. And, I get to call on guys like Todd Feldman from CAA and Brad Slater from William Morris Endeavor and my guys that are on my production company, Jared Roxburgh, who's a director and an editor and a producer and a writer. So I've been learning this business a long time. If you're going to do anything, guys, you got to do your absolute research and know it's going to be a long, long process. People always see, oh, Uriah made one movie, and I've made one movie. We sold to Lionsgate, and we have an awesome product. But that was after 7 or 8 years of doing research and understanding and having things that almost got off the ground and didn't get off the ground. Everything's very, very difficult, and you have to do a lot of hard work to get there. And so don't ever think that, we're just getting things done because, everything I touch turns to gold. I hear people say it all the time about folks like, oh, everything he touches. You don't hear about all the losses and the this and the that. You can't be deterred, and you have to be smart, make adjustments along the way. And that's been a big key for me, not afraid to think big, like so many of the guys that accomplish big things, like really think big and think that you can do anything, then find out the hard way that you have to make adjustments along the way and don't be deterred by the hiccups. Bisping and I had a great talk last time we were at an event about, all these hardships that we've gone through. No one sees anything. They see us, we're older guys in the sport still doing this, and Bisping's got, the commentary, and he's got the podcast, and he's got, the acting, and he's got, he's a DJ and a master.
Whoa. There's many more high-level, highbrow things you write.
It also fell off. I love how you had to go to.
Yeah.
Dad bod underwear model.
Hey, bro, I'll challenge you to a shirt off right now. But before we let you go, because you are a family man, you are very busy. And by the way, sound advice from one of the best to ever do it. And you've made such a great transition into you're not retired yet, but still what you've done outside of the octagon, using your platform without kissing your ass too much is fantastic, Uriah. People should draw inspiration from that. I want to ask you about this real quickly before we let you go. Obviously, one of the best to do it at 135. Dominic Cruz was scheduled to maybe fight Henry Cejudo recently, if this event was to go ahead. What do you make of that? What do you make of the whole landscape at 135 with Henry? Who do you think he should fight? All that type of stuff.
Man, when you're a top caliber fighter, you don't lose that. Even though Dom's been out, I mean, I retired, came out of retirement in the time that he's been inactive, which is kind of wild. But he's not gonna. He's not gonna. You guys still there?
Yeah. We're here. I'm assuming you got a text or something.
My grandma's calling me. It's funny. My grandma calls me. She's deaf. She's like, we can't even hear her. So the whole thing will be like, what? And it's just, we look at each other and like do one of these and but nonetheless, she's amazing.
Bless her.
So I mean, the sport right now. I mean, first off, Dom's not going to skip a beat, in my opinion. Will he be able to take a punch like he has before? He hasn't taken a bunch of damage, really. Most damage I've seen him take was against, the Cody Felix, the Cody Garbrandt fight. But it's an interesting time. There's so many up and comers and so many experienced, like established fighters that are in the division right now. Dom's one. We got TJ who's going to be out of his suspension here soon. We've got Aldo coming down. I mean, these are some all-time greats. We've got Cody getting back in there. I'm back in the active mix somewhat. We've got the next generation. Don't forget about Sean O'Malley. You've got Sandhagen. You've got Aljamain. You've got Peter Yan. You've got
Marlon Vera.
Marlon Vera. All these guys that are Frankie Edgar's back in the mix. I mean, what a crazy friggin' time. This is the most interesting the sport's ever been for our weight class, absolutely. But, yeah, Dom's earned his spot. I mean, he's come out of big layoffs and had success. It's not going to affect him. He believes in himself, and he's got a skill set. So it'll be fine. It's going to be a tough fight for Henry, I think. A lot of fights are going to be tough it's going to come up to matchups in this division, man. It really is. And so I'm excited for any matchup in this division. I'm excited for, Song Yadong, who's our Chinese fighter that's on our team. And I'm excited for Cody, who's reestablished a hunger and a desire to be on top. I mean, there's a lot of exciting things happening right now. And I'm just happy to be a part of it. Old guy being like, dude, I'm gonna get in and mix it up, or I'm gonna sit back and watch. Either way, it's exciting for me.
Awesome. Well, listen, thanks for joining us, Uriah. I know you're a busy man, so we'll let you go. Do us a favor, shoot us an email with the trailer, a link to the trailer. Yeah. We'll try and put that on the show as well. As I say, thanks for taking the time out, and talk to you soon.
All right, brother. I appreciate it, man. Have a good one, guys.
All the best, buddy. Take care, pal.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Bye.
There he is.
Very cool. The legendary Uriah Faber. Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. You guys have a good dynamic. You guys are
he's awesome. He's great. He's got a great sense of humor. He does take the piss. He's bust my balls every time I fucking see him. But he's a grinder. He's a hard worker. He's got a lot of things going on outside the octagon. And as he said there, when you see somebody that you perceive as successful, all you see is the good stuff. You don't see all the shit, all the failure in the background. And I was going to say this, but I didn't want to cheapen it, what he was saying. But it's kind of like, you hear people, they talk about online poker or people that go to the casino and gamble a lot. They'll come up and say, I had a huge night at the casino last night. I won X amount of dollars. But they don't tell you about all the nights where they lose, where they just consistently lose one after the other. And you can bet your bottom dollar that for every night where they win big, there's 5 where they shit the bed. You know what I'm saying?
They've talked about that with like how social media is perceived and how it makes people even more depressed because you perceive that everyone else's life is better around you because they're just posting the good shit, the delicious meals they're having, the fucking vacations, but they're not posting all of the arguments they're having and the fights they're having and when they're late on the rent or they can't do this, that, the other.
But that's fine. Because you celebrate.
It drives
Go on.
Well, I was saying it sort of drives people to depression because you start to go like, fuck, dude, I have nothing going on. Everyone has those same things. You know what I'm saying? Even on the highest level. This is actually, it's an interesting thing because comedians always complain about what they don't have. And I was talking to my friend Robert Kelly about it. And he was like, dude, on whatever level you look at it, you're never going to escape that. Like Louis C.K. at the time before he had like fallen from grace, which by the way, new special, fucking awesome. I'll send you a link, Bisping. I bought it. It's fucking incredible. It's so good. Yeah, he was saying like, you know, Louis, when he first put out that show, Louis, he won an Emmy. And it's like, he's at the top of the mountain. He's like the most respected comedian in the world. He's like a multi-millionaire, but he wins an Emmy. And then the next year, it's like, well, no, now he's got to win an Emmy again. Now he's got to go to the next level, and that pressure never sort of escapes you.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say, by the way, I'd say Ricky Gervais far out trumps fucking Louis C.K. on any day of the week, but that's a conversation for another period, another time, whatever.
I will challenge you that any day.
Louis C.K. cannot hold a fucking fort to Ricky Gervais. Anyway, there you go.
He can hold his dick.
He'll hold his dick and get fucking Ricky Gervais to fucking jerk him off. No, I was going to say regarding going back to the social media thing, you are right. You know, people always put their best foot forward on social media, and it is kind of perceived or received in a negative fashion, but all they do is put on the good stuff. But that is human nature, and there's nothing wrong with that, because when something good happens in your life, you want to celebrate it. You're proud of it. You want to share it, whether that be your daughter learning to do something cool, play a guitar, whatever it is. You want to put that on, right? Because you're proud of it. Or let's say you go out with your wife and you're all dressed up, you look awesome. Yeah, you put that on. You don't put it on social media when you're having a bitching argument. And everybody has arguments. Not every day is a fucking bed of roses for everybody. Everyone has good days. Everybody has bad days. And you know, people, it's a common thing, or it's a popular thing to talk shit. Say, oh, well, on social media, nobody puts the bad stuff on. Well, of course they don't, because it's bad shit. That inherently in itself is the reason why you don't put it on, because you're not celebrating.
I've dated a couple girls who fucking will start airing the dirty laundry on social media. That's the other side. Sometimes people do put the bad shit. And if you see a woman putting bad shit on social media, like complaining about her life, things that are going wrong, run for the hills.
Oh, she's crazy.
Is fucking nuts.
Batshit crazy. Absolute batshit crazy. If you're one of those people out there that is talking about your social life, talking about your personal relationships with a boyfriend, a girlfriend, or whatever, you're a fucking psycho.
Yes.
You are a psycho.
Just leave it off. Just leave it off social media. Fine. People fucking break up. I'm telling you, man. But then I'll be honest with you, crazy girls. I do love a good crazy chick, but that's a whole other podcast, baby boy.
It's a whole other podcast, baby boy. But thank you to Uriah Faber. Awesome as always. And if you get a chance when it comes out, what's it called? Green Rush? I think it was called Green Fingers back in the day, so I'm a little confused. I think initially it was Green Fingers, but now it's Green Rush. Check it out. I've seen the trailer. Looks fantastic. I know the director, Jared. He's awesome. Rick Lee's a very good friend of mine.
4 days, I believe. So just in a few days, look it up right now. In fact, look it up. Leave it a fucking review. Let them know that Believe You Me sent you guys. That would be really cool. And Bisping, maybe we can do something where we watch it and do an official review of Green Rush next week on the show.
Didn't you listen to what I just said? I'm very good friends with Uriah Faber. I'm friends with Jared Rossman, the director. I'm friends with Rick Lee. And you want us to do an honest review? It's like, listen.
Bisping has no faith in your movie, Uriah Faber. He has no faith that this is going to be a good movie. Look at him.
Brother, it's a fucking joke. Where was your sense of humor? This is an MMA-centric comedy podcast. I'm joking. No, I've seen the trailer. The trailer is fucking awesome. That's why I want to play it on this show, so we'll do that. In fact, let's roll to it now.
A rural area of Northern California is the center of the state's new green rush.
California will soon oversee the largest legal weed market in the world.
The nursery is where the real work is. The younger they are, the more you have to nurture.
You're gonna be such a good dad.
Your probation officer, your boss, the whole world sees you as a criminal. So you might as well just be one. Where's my 50 G's?
We owe you 15, man.
But the clock's been ticking, hasn't it?
I can get it more than that. My bosses are growers. He's got 5 times more than that.
You want to make some real money?
Let's go.
Hey, don't move! Where's the keys? Where's the safe? Where is it?
Here we go.
Starting your crazy ass tick all over again.
You really think he's gonna share that money with you?
Aren't you a rare creature?
No!
What do you want from me?
It's just a little weed, Caleb. Never hurt nobody.
All right, there it is. That is the trailer for Green Rush, produced by Uriah Faber. I mean, that's awesome. Good for him. Fantastic. Also, good friend of mine. Rick Lee produced. Jared Ruxborough, very, very good friend of mine. Old Scottish Jared is directing it once more. That's Green Rush on demand, April 14th from Lionsgate. So congratulations to all of them. Can't wait to see that, Lewis.
Very cool. Looks great. I'm excited. We will we'll definitely if we give it a review, it's because we liked it. If you never hear about it again, it's because
yeah, I mean, if there's one thing I am, it's honest. Okay. Some call it direct, some call it blunt, some say it's rude as fuck. But generally, I like to say I'm candid. You know where I stand. So there you go. Anyway, all right, back with the show. What else have we got? Do we have any video questions, fan content? We got any reason to give away more Sanabul gloves?
Real quick, if you guys want to join the conversation, if you want to send in any pictures, content, audio, video, whatever it is, bympod@gmail.com is the email address. We will play video questions. Guys, just tap it in. If it's okay, you'll probably get on the show. You have to be pretty goddamn bad to not get on the show.
Just tap it in. A little tappy.
A little tappity tap.
A little tap-a-roo. You know, it's funny, before you were talking
Name
about...
that movie, Free Pair of Sanabul Gloves.
17 pairs of Sanabul gloves. It's funny you were talking about that because Happy Gilmore, as we know, slapstick comedy featuring Adam Sandler. I was telling Lucas, tonight we're going to watch Happy Gilmore. And I feel like it's suitable. He's 9 years old. He can watch Happy Gilmore. Come on. You're saying... So James can chop people's heads off with a chainsaw, but yet he can't watch a little bit of slapstick comedy.
All right, I'm looking up the age-appropriate Common Sense Media for Happy Gilmore. Let me see.
Hold on.
Because I loved Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore as a kid, when I was like 12, it was the movie that made me laugh harder than any movie ever. With the scene with the clown nose at the mini golf, where he's laughing at him.
Or like I like when Ben Stiller's the car and he's like, you will go to sleep or I will put you to sleep. You're in my world now. Okay. There's no swearing. There's no bad language. You know, you could trouble me for a warm glass of shut the hell up. Okay. It's fine for a 9-year-old.
Let's see. Parents need to know that the biggest red flag for this movie is the cursing and violent behavior of Happy Gilmore. Adam Sandler, his short fuse results in a number of skirmishes, including an extended fight scene with Bob Barker. That's hilarious. There's no problem with that.
Zero problem.
The two brutally pound on each other until Gilmore is eventually knocked out unconscious. Another scene has Gilmore threaten another golfer with shards of a broken beer bottle. Hilarious. He's like, you want to go?
This is the best part. Yeah, exactly. Listen, if James can see Quilty Puffs bloody chainsawing people's heads off, okay, then Lucas can watch bloody Adam Sandler joking with a fake broken bottle of glass.
You know what I realized? I'm reading this. I'm gonna watch this with James, and I'm so happy.
Yeah,
I'm so excited. Me and my sister loved Happy Gilmore. Billy Madison. Happy Gilmore was the one. Happy Gilmore, up until a few years ago, I would say it was my favorite comedy ever. It made me laugh so hard, and I think my kid's gonna get a fucking real kick out of it. I'm happy that it's just that those are the worst scenes. Is the alligator, the broken beer? That's nothing. It's so funny.
Yeah. And in our house, because you know that the grandma is like, oh, my fingers hurt. Like, oh, well, now your back's gonna hurt because you just pulled landscaping duty. Right? I swear to God, in our house, and I swear, honestly, Ellie, she hates me for it. Anytime somebody says, I feel sick, I've got a bad stomach, I've got anything. Anytime anybody says anything in our house, I always say, well, now your back's going to hurt because you just put landscaping duty. And they're honestly, Dad, I'm serious. I'm in pain. I'm like, I'm serious. Get that fucking shovel. So tonight,
you know what my dad line is from a movie? Anytime anybody says they want anything, I say, well, I want a toilet made out of solid gold, but it's just not on the cards, baby.
Exactly. And that's very annoying as well. I have no idea.
Austin Powers.
Oh.
Well, I want a toilet made out of solid gold, but it's just not in the cards, baby. Yeah.
That's not a bad impression, actually, Lewis. Pretty good. All right, fan content. What do we have?
All right, the first thing we got here is from Luis Aviles.
Ooh.
What up, BYM? So first of all, shout out Michael Bisping, shout out Sanabul, shout out Luis J. Gomez. Check this out, Mexican Pride. All right, two things. Mike, could you please rate my left hook Larry? And then Luis J. Gomez, how come you go by Luis and not Luis? I go by Luis, I'm just wondering, curiosity. And then 249, man, that sucks, huh? All right, please rate.
Okay, let's go.
I think you did it from the southpaw position, though. So,
that's good. Ooh.
Okay.
Whoa.
Wow, Luis Avila.
I gotta say, Luis, baby. My God, he's got a good left hook. He's got some pop there. And I gotta say a few things. Okay. First of all, Luis. Yeah, shame on you, Luis. You've adopted the American culture and society so much so you've forgotten the foundation that your forefathers built. You forgot your ancestors. You adopted American culture so much you just left them for dead and you forget about them. The little people that you continually step on. Okay,
White power, baby boy.
There's a true
white pride all day long.
Mexican. Okay, there's a Luis, baby, and let me tell you. The Mexican boxers, the Mexican heritage, the rich heritage of boxing that the Mexicans have, they will be proud of that work, Louise. They were good. A solid pop on there, my friend. So what was the question? How would I rate it?
1 to 10. 1 to 10. Bisping. Real deal. Don't fuck around, Michael Bisping. You're training him to fight MMA, UFC level fighting.
It looked pretty good. I'd have to watch it again. I wasn't looking for the proper placement. Roll it back. Let me watch one more time. Brian, roll tape.
1 second. And now give me.
And I'll answer why I don't call myself Luis while you roll it back. I was raised by whites. Yeah, I'm half Italian, Irish, half Puerto Rican. My father was murdered when I was a child, and I was raised by the white side of my family, and they call me Lewis. You know, what am I going to do?
Call yourself Lewis.
Yeah,
you know?
Simple as that.
Simple as that. All right, let's go.
BYM. I think you did it from the southpaw position, though. So,
it's good. I'm not seeing too many problems with it. So I would say, Louise, and I will respect your culture. I'll respect your heritage, your background. You know, the man wants to be known as Louise. I will say Louise. Louise, you get an 8 out of 10 there. An 8 out of 10, which is a solid score. I think in a lot of places, 80% would be what? An A minus. So there you go. Pretty good.
Left hook Louise. That's what they got to call him.
Left hook Louise. I feel that's it's a little detrimental to Larry. You know, there's only one left hook Larry. Left hook Louise sounds like a girl's name. Doesn't quite have the same.
Well, it's not Louise. You keep on saying like Thelma and Louise. It's Luis.
Louise.
Chill the fuck out with Louise.
Well, Luis.
Sounds
the same thing to me, buddy.
No, Luis. Route.
You know what I find myself struggling with all the time? Because I say, in England, you say route. I say the router, or route. You go in the wrong route, but you guys say route. And I find myself saying it at times, and I hate it. I hate myself. But yeah, okay, we'll send that through to Imran, hopefully, because he did definitely give Sanabul a shout out there as well. So we'll hopefully get you some gloves real soon, Louise, and some pads. Brian, we got any more?
Yeah, we got D-Shek sent in his coronavirus self-defense video.
Ooh.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to show you some self-defense techniques here. So now usually I throw on my gloves here and I'll show you some combos. You know, there's no Sanabul gloves there. But in this new age of social distancing, we can't do that. I can't get too close to my opponent to throw strikes because you never know, they could be infected. So instead, you're going to grab your object of choice, make sure it is at least 6 feet long.
I like that.
That proper space of social distancing. So at first, you want to get your stance. And as your opponent's going to come in to cough on you, they're going to be taking a deep breath. And usually when they take that deep breath, they expose their throat. So what you're going to do, you're going to interrupt that breath right before they cough on you. You're going to have to work on your timing a little bit. So you're going to go right to the throat. So that should make them disrupt their breathing. So you have a little bit of a split second of distraction time. You're going to do a technique I like to call the bop. So the bop, after you go for the throat, you're going to pull back, come around, bop.
Bop on the head. Okay, I get the bop. That's fine.
So you pull back. And you
Throat, then bop. Throat.
That upwards motion, you should be striking somewhere in the facial region. So now they're going to be exposing the rest of their body. They're going to be looking up. So now you're going to do the finishing move I like to call jingle balls. So you go down.
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuffs.
Jingle balls. You can do this technique too on a woman because I'm sure it won't be the first time they've had stiff, hard wood between the legs.
Oh, shit. No one's safe.
Listen, I'm just going to say one thing. Sorry, what was that gentleman's name?
D. Sheck. He didn't give his whole name.
Well, D-Sheck, listen, I'm just going to throw it out to you, buddy. I appreciate the content. That was awesome. It was very well delivered. It looks like a mighty fine shed, house, outhouse, garage, perhaps, that you're building there. But if one was to adopt this guidance and was to walk around with a giant, long, 6-foot piece of wood and started with what is essentially assaulting people on a very high level. The coronavirus is the least of your worries. You start doing the jigglypuff to the balls, the jiggly balls. If you start doing what do you call it? The bop, right? You're smacking people in the face essentially with an extended baseball bat. Okay. I'm sorry. I can't sign off on this sheer violence.
I sign. Not only do I sign off, I'm going to give you 3 pairs of Sanabul gloves.
Why?
We got to put one on each end of his piece of wood, and then 2 other pairs.
I was more concerned with his lack of craftsmanship with the weapon of choice. I mean, that was essentially a bow. Being a black belt in Japanese jiu-jitsu, I'm skilled in the arts of weapons, and he was not handling that too well. Hold on, wait there. Just talk amongst yourself for a second.
Oh boy, here we go.
Where's my nunchucks, babe?
Where's the nunchucks back? That's disappointing. I was expecting to see some awesome nunchuck work.
I've got some nunchucks in here somewhere amongst all the other debris.
Are you good with the nunchucks?
Not really, but I can do a little bit.
I can do a little bit.
I can do a little bit. I mess around now and again when I'm bored. When we were kids, when I did Japanese jiu-jitsu, we used to do a lot of demonstrations in the town center and stuff. They would have like all these like fairs and fetes and fundraisers and whatnot. And the jiu-jitsu club would always go and do a demonstration. And then the party piece at the end, there was 2 things that I was used for. Again, I was about 10 or 11 years old. I would put an apple on top of my head, and then our coach would they'd do a little demo with the nunchuckers, and then just obliterate an apple, which was on top of my head. And I never for 1 second thought that he might miss. Yeah, because I had so much.
Missed?
He knew, of course he never missed. You know what I mean? Thank God.
Everyone makes mistakes.
I know. With wooden nunchuckers, and he would obliterate an apple on top of my head. But as I say, when you're a kid, you're just so blind. I mean, now I'll be like, you better get this fucking right, buddy. I didn't have a headgear on or anything. He would just do that. And then the next party piece was I would do a handstand, and 2 people would hold my legs, and he would put a cucumber on my balls.
No.
And he'd get the samurai sword and then chop a cucumber in half, and the cucumber would fall separate in 2. And again, I never second guessed it for a second. But these days,
that's how much faith you had in your sensei.
Yeah, blind faith as a 10-year-old. I'm like, oh, it's my sensei, bro.
He would never make a mistake.
He can do anything. He can walk on water. Incidentally.
Meanwhile, that guy right now is a fucking drug addict. He's 3 months late on his rent.
That guy turned into an absolute piece of shit who bullied the fuck out of me for years, actually. Yeah, no, he did. I remember one time, because he got this girlfriend, and his girlfriend's little brother started doing jiu-jitsu with us, and he took like a real shine to him, and he thought if he looked after his girlfriend's brother, I don't know, he was like madly in love with her. And I remember one night, I was about 12, 13 at this point, and we were stood on the end of the street, and he was like 18, 19. So he was a bit weird anyway, because he was hanging out with all of us, because he should have been hanging out with other 18, 19-year-olds, not hanging around with me. But he thought it was good to bully me in front of everybody. And I remember one time, they all stood there and they all started spitting on me. And he said, if you do anything, if you retaliate, essentially, then you're out of the jiu-jitsu club. And everyone was standing there spitting on me. And then they grabbed a Mars bar and they fucking buried a Mars bar into my hair and shit like that. So in the end, I told them all to fuck off and ran away. Started crying on the way home, if I'm honest. But
you're that fucking crying now. I see it in your face. You're thinking about it.
Fucking little shit. I swear to God.
That's fucked up, dude. That's really sad.
And no, it is fucked up.
That guy is a particular piece of shit. Like, all right, it's one thing to be a bully. Okay. It is what it is. People are bullies sometimes. You know, we've all probably had our moments where we've been assholes to other people that were weaker than us in whatever capacity, right? But to bully someone where, you know, in martial arts, when you're in that position where you're a teacher, you're a sensei, you're in that, you know, a lot of times those kids, that's all they have. That's the structure. That's why their parents put them in there. It's like, and you're sort of betraying that trust. And it's another level. It's way worse than just bullying. It's way worse than anything else. It's, you know, it's like a teacher, you know, it's really abusive. That story pisses me off. That guy fucking sucks. And by the way, he's not a winner now. I guarantee that guy ended up fucking being a loser. Guaranteed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not going to say his name because people in Clitheroe all listen to this and they'll know who it is. But he is a piece of shit. But I remember as we got older.
And it shows what a bigger person you are, because right now you could be like, yeah, fuck that guy. This is who he was.
Yeah.
And you still decide like, yeah, fuck it. Let him be who he is.
Nah, fuck it. It's all good. But I remember as well, he used to say, what was it? He used to say, make a big point of saying it to everybody, oh, you'll never be a world champion. You don't have what it takes to be world champion. Fucking asshole. But then I remember when I got older and I started hanging out in the pubs, and me and my old crew, you know, we were, you know what I mean? Me and my old crew, we were a little rough around the edges. It was like, oh, here he is. This dickhead. And yeah, you know, I definitely had the last laugh. Let's just put it that way. The fucking asshole. And anyway, on that note,
they killed him. They killed that man.
He's a dead man. That's why I don't want to say his name. He's literally all that fucking martial arts, all that playing quilty puffs never helped him out. Do you know what I mean? He's fucking rotting at the bottom of Edison River right now. And I guess on that note,
hold on, guys. I got one more thing I wanted to show you.
Okay.
Joseph Butcher sent in a BYM 2020 Universe pick.
Ooh, okay. Oh,
that's fun.
Oh, that's great. Look at that. There's Darren Till saying, fucking, I'm coming for you, Yoel. I'm coming for you. And there's Harrington looking slightly, I don't know what's going on with Harrington there. I don't know. We got the coronavirus looking very, very friendly.
Yeah, we got Michael Hearn.
Brian
McKay is there. We got the whole fucking world.
I gotta say, Dana looks good in that dress. You know, I mean, I'm there. I'm looking suave as ever. Dana's looking good. We got Gilbert Burns at the back, like he's trolling Tyron Woodley right there from that seat. Karen Bright's happy as ever. Brian's there. DC in the zone. Perillo's staring at Gilbert Burns and going, "Are you sure you want that smoke of Tyron Woodley?" And he's like, "Yes." Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. Falling in and out of love, in and out of love with you. And on that note, I think we better stop this show before I say something I regret.